writers, but foremost, of course, we are readers. And that's where it all begins. You can't find a writer who doesn't love books. Anytime you get writers together, they talk about two things, and one of them is always, what are you reading now? Oh, I love that book. Did you like that book? That book drove me crazy. Back and forth, back and forth. So I want to hear right now what everybody's reading right now. I want to hear the book you have on your nightstand you're reading right now, and also the book, a standout book by not one of us that you've read in the last year that you loved. Dashner, go.
Right this minute, not literally this minute, but today, this time period, I am reading a book called I Am Not a Serial Killer. I'm really good friends with Dan Wells, and I've been lying to him for a couple of years, telling him I've already read it. But I'm finally reading it, and I absolutely love it. It's really dark and disturbing, but it's good. And a book that had a profound impact on my reading career and my writing career in my life is definitely the book Ender's Game by Orson Scott.
And right now, I don't know, like right now, what I'm actually reading is a book by a guy named Lee Childs, and it's a Jack Reacher novel, like a tough guy mystery sort of thing, like a kind of a dad book that you read when you are having a midlife crisis and you wish you were buff and muscular and solving mysteries and driving cool cars.
Tell us about it, Brandon.
Yeah, I just did. I just kind of put it out there. Like as far as a book I read this year that was really cool is a book called Janitors by a guy named Tyler Whitesides that isn't out yet, but that will be out pretty soon. And
is Tyler here?
Huh?
Is Tyler here?
Oh yeah, well I mean, like he's not on stage,
Where
but
is
he's
he?
here. Yeah,
Where's Tyler?
Yeah. There he is. So that was one that was cool, and like, are we talking formative stuff too? Formative stuff like Narnia, that series was the series that broke my brain and made me want to write fantasy books.
So right now I'm reading Major Pettigrew's Last Stand, which is a great novel. I love it. Stop it. Written, they have a tea. Women having a midlife crisis.
Stop.
The book that I love.
Oh, what's also? Not right now.
This was Anna Green. I read it 32 times and they're great, and I can tell you that because I marked it.
Stop moving.
I thought I was an avid Green Gables fan. My best friend in high school had long black curly hair, so we used to call each other Anna and Diana. Right now, I am moving back and forth between two books because one of them is The Elegance of the Hedgehog, and it is extremely French, and there are times when I just have to set it down for a minute because they are so French. I'm enjoying it, but really, they're very French. And so the other book I have moved over to is Beyond Heroes, A World Without Heroes by Brandon Mull, which I am really enjoying. It's not that French. But when I was 11 years old, I read The Hero in the Crown, the girl, the cover of my sister's copy, had long hair and a white horse. And I said, there are people who spend their whole days writing books about people playing dragons. I'm in.
Right now I'm reading 1776 by David McCullough so that I can stand smart. It turns out there was a revolution in America. And I'm also listening to an audiobook, I Shall Wear Midnight by Terry Pratchett. It's the fourth Tiffany Aching novel. If you guys are looking for audiobooks, the Tiffany Aching books by Terry Pratchett are so great on audio. The Wee Free Men is the first one. I highly recommend it. The reader's so good. His accents are phenomenal. Do you guys, any of you listen to the audiobooks of Harry Potter? Huge crush on Jim Dale. I never want to see him. I don't want to see his face. I just want to hear his voice. And he does the Peter and the Starcatchers too, really good. Anyway, I don't know why I said that, because he didn't narrate The Wee Free Men. Anyway, formative books, I'm with you with Robin McKinley, Hero in the Crown and the Blue Sword. Blue Sword I read over and over and over. Anna Green Gables, 2 of the Narnia books as well. But also Lloyd Alexander, huge for me. Love Lloyd Alexander. Doing the storytelling when I start playing with different, different topics and different themes and weaving in subplots and discovering new things, and that's where it's really fun for me. And I don't feel the loss of the stuff that I cut because I still made that story even though I was the only reader for it. And so I feel like I get to create a whole other story, and then another draft is like I'm trying to make an even different novel and different story and see where it ends up. So. No?
That's weird.
Yeah. Alone in that? Really? None of you?
I'm with you halfway. It can be fun to. It's fun to make it better. I love the feeling of making it better and taking time. I don't try to sculpt quite as gleefully as you.
Yeah. Tyler, are you the same way? No? You like first drafts? Yeah. Oh man. Any other writers that really hate first drafts and love rewrites? Okay, and the writers in here that love first drafts and hate rewrites. Okay, clearly that's the majority. All right, I'm the freak. But what does that say for me? Because I have 4 children, right? So the first 2 is like me kind of figuring it out. And then this one, finally we reached it. All right, this one's publishable.
I had to prevent my husband from referring to our oldest child as the practice child. He would tell people, well, this is just our practice baby. He would be crying and they would be like, oh, what's wrong? And my husband would go, I don't know, it's just the practice baby. Please don't do that anymore. That makes us look like such terrible people.
No.
I have a question for you guys. Do you read... I think I know the answer to this, but I always get this question. Do you read books while you're in the middle of drafting your own books? Do you have any rules about what you will read and what you won't read while you're in the middle of writing?
This sounds stupid to people, but I actually force myself to read, especially when I'm writing the first draft. I notice if I'm not reading something, that my writing level goes down. I just think it keeps my freshness and creativity strong.
It's like a deodorant ad.
Yeah, it's like deodorant. By the way, I have
Dashner.
the best smelling deodorant ever. If you want to smell it, come by.
I like to read something while I'm writing because it feels like a vacation from my own writing. So that's why I'm reading like British books because I don't write books. I just like something that feels like a break, but there's no real rule about what might feel like a break. It's just whatever does.
And I'm hit and miss just depending on time. I don't have a hard rule about it, but I'll just, yeah. So I love to read. Pleasure reading is a big part of my life. It's sometimes fun to read outside my category, like macho guy, adventure story stuff. But but I also read a lot in my category. So I don't know. Yeah, I have no answer. Sorry.
I'm reading all the time, sometimes 2 or 3 books at once just for fun, but sometimes I will be in a mood for something, a particular type of book, because that's what I'm working on. Like I'll be in the mood to read something set in Scandinavia or something when I'm working on something Scandinavian. Not like, ooh, I must find some ambiance to go with this book, but more like, oh yes, I would like some lefse and boiled fish, thank you,